Welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It's the weekend after the trials for the World Athletics Championships and the Commonwealth Games. It's the weekend after the Safari Rally. It's the weekend before Rugby World Cup qualification for Africa. So we've got Peter Drewett. He is part of the coaching staff of the Kenya Simbas, and he joins us via Zoom in Nairobi at the training camp. Coach, good morning. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kenya. Good to be here.
All right. Very well. And Coach, first of all, the Simbas, they played in the Currie Cup First Division. And let's start with the basic thing. The points table does not lie. It simply said Kenya at first, the attack was good, but the defense at times looked wobbly. What were some of the things that you did around the defense?
Well, to be honest, to answer that, if you look very carefully at the progression over the 2.5 months, with the 2 fantastic wins here in Nairobi in front of a fantastic crowd of supporters, and we constantly work on all areas: attack, defence, kicking, line out, scrum, and defence has definitely been a big work on for us. But we seem to be in a good place at the moment, and really looking forward to leaving for France very in the early hours of Wednesday morning, and looking forward to the contest.
So let's talk about defense. One of the things I think Coach Odera had mentioned was working on the double tackle. Maybe you could just explain that and how it works, where you've got the primary tackler and somebody to come in and offer support on that tackle.
No, of course. So the first tackler is looking to what we call a chop tackle, which is to take the player down immediately to create a defensive line. And the second player comes in to prevent offload and also to slow down the speed at which they're able to recycle the ball. By slowing it down, it gives our players time to do what we call a twofold, in terms of getting into a defensive line and ready to put more pressure on the opposition.
One other thing that he has kept talking about is the conditioning of the players. And how have you worked on this? Because for you to achieve that double tackle, you need players who can be quick on the line.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I think that we've worked a lot on what we call reloading, which is getting up on our feet. So we have a line of sort of 14 defenders or attackers at any one time, and realigning to get into position whether to defend or attack. A lot of credit goes to the players themselves, but also our S&C and fitness coaches. I've been with the group since last September. We had 4 big games in South Africa in October, November. We've had our 2.5 months in South Africa now, and you're absolutely right. Without being in prime physical condition, we wouldn't be able to be as effective with our defence and in terms of the way we pressurise the opposition. But we're ready for that now, and can't wait till next Saturday, July the 2nd, when we play Uganda.
Well, I'll be coming to what your thoughts are about Team Uganda, but let's now talk about how the attack flows out. Things you noticed when you played the first matches till the last game against the Leopards that down here in Nairobi after playing about 7 matches in South Africa.
Yes, sorry, you're talking about our attack.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. We play a 1-3-3-1 formation, and the reason for that is to create multiple opportunities in attack so that the opposition aren't certain of where we're going to attack, how we're going to attack, and when we're going to attack. It also gives us a lot of width, and we try and create 2 ways of attack. So the front line, often in games, is there to get over the gain line and give us momentum, and as we gradually put pressure on the opposition, we then try and bring players from behind that front line at pace through to score tries. And I think in the last 2 games the supporters will have seen that working very effectively. We've got a nice balance between a lot of power in the forwards in terms of ball carrying, a lot of speed and agility in the backs to make use of the space that is created.
And part of this attacking formation is the role that is played by the scrum half and the fly half. How have you worked to ensure that if there is a breakdown at any point, that the scrum half gets the ball to the right spaces where the team can keep moving forward?
Yeah, no, good question. And our scrum halves are the fittest people in the team because they've got to run a lot. And in order to get 2-second quick ruck ball to prevent the opposition being able to defend, they've got to get there. But in actual fact, if the scrum half is held down or can't get there for some reason, our other players are well versed, knowing that sometimes they've got to actually make the pass from the ruck to keep the speed of the attack going. The 10s, again, working hard either as first receiver or second receiver, or the link between our two pods of 3. So they have a massive part to play, and the timing of their pass and movement is crucial. And obviously that's taken quite a long time to practice and to perfect, but we believe we're in a good place now with that.
One of the things that we started seeing improvements on were the lineouts. How much work has gone into this to ensure that the team is actually even stealing balls from the opposition lineouts?
Yes, I mean, line-out ball is crucial in the game in terms of what it leads to, in terms of scoring opportunities. And if you can actually steal a ball and then keep possession for another 5 minutes away from the opposition, is very important. And to be fair to our forwards coach, Mike Ong, and actually the players and the leadership group who have really worked hard on this. And that's time spent obviously on the pitch at full pace. It's time spent sometimes just on a little bit of grass outside the hotel sorting things out. It's time spent in the meeting room. It's time spent doing a lot of analysis on the opposition, understanding where they throw to, how they use their line out, how we can compete against their possession and their ball, and make sure it's a really important contest. And great credit to the players and coaches for spending so much time on that.
Now let's take a look at the events, the Rugby World Cup qualifiers in France proper. Now this is a format. Previously we've seen it go to round robin, and it's now quarterfinals, semi-finals, and a final. And with Africa one picking some, getting to join a very tough group that's got Argentina, got the All Blacks. Now, having seen the format, what is the plan, of attacking Uganda, ensuring that you progress to play either Senegal or Algeria in the semis?
Yes, so the plan is not to look beyond Uganda. Each game's a final because it's knockout, and obviously we've done a lot of analysis because the board of directors and our chairman worked really hard to get us out to the Currie Cup so that we could play at a competitive level over 2.5 months. That's enabled us to obviously get fit enough to play at international level, but also technically, tactically and mentally ready. We've done a lot of work on mental skills, and that's what it's going to be about as well next weekend, in terms of our ability to perform under pressure and to make good decisions under that pressure. There's no doubt about it. Uganda, Kenya are always massive games. Uganda will have prepared well, but we have to back ourselves. And there's a very good mood in the camp, very good spirit. There's confidence, there's not arrogance, based on our last 3 months of working together. But we know it's going to be a massive test for us, and that's why it's called Test Rugby. And to be honest, we want to embrace it, and we can't wait to get out there and get into that game.
And Peter, let me something about the team. 10 of the players are under the age of 23. 5 played at the Junior World Rugby, the JWRT in Brazil in 2019, and looking at the older players, 8 over 30. How is this mix of the young bloods and the experienced heads coming into play ahead of the Rugby World Cup qualifiers?
Yes, well, I think, Paul Adira as head coach has done a fantastic job over many years creating this depth chart of players. So you're sort of 3 or 4 deep at least in each position. And very skillfully, I think, goodness, when I look back to last October, November in Stellenbosch when we played Brazil and Namibia and others, there was something like 14 new players in that group. When we went out to South Africa this time, there were a lot of new players in the group as well. And that's part of the skill, where you match the excellence and energy of youth with the experience of as you can see, a good number of very experienced players in this squad, and they're matching things really well. The older players are able to help the younger players in many ways, and it's a lovely balance. It's great to watch, and there's a real energy amongst the group. And the reality is, when you're under pressure in a tough game, let's say with 10 minutes to go, you need your experienced players on that pitch to be able to make good decisions and to help the young players through that exciting environment.
Okay. Now, the other thing is a few rule changes in the sport that have come through, and one of them actually works in favor of a team. The 50-22 for the backs. How are you working to ensure that they get that kick right, such that it's almost like how would I say? It's almost like a penalty, but in open play.
Yes, it is, and it's a very useful tactic to use, and our players are fully aware of when and how and why to use that. And I think you've seen in a number of games that we've been very effective in that ability to maximise that. The other thing it does, of course, is it means that the opposition's wingers and fullback often lie deeper. And that for Kenya is actually very favourable, because our backs are so talented that if the forwards can get the ball to them in the right space, often we're able to not just kick for that position, but actually run into that position as well. So we're able to maximise that new law to good effect.
Oh, right. Peter, finally, the outlook and the experiences that you would want, especially the under 10 players who are under 23, to peak from the Rugby World Cup qualifiers. And we would like to see Kenya become another country that join the likes of Cote d'Ivoire, Zimbabwe, Namibia as teams that have played at the Rugby World Cup.
Yes, I mean, this has been the ambition for Kenya Rugby and the Simbas for a long time. What we've been able to do is put all the preparation in place to make it a real chance for this team. And as you mentioned, the exciting thing about the squad is that a large group of these players could end up playing in 2 or 3 World Cups. So it's a fantastic, exciting time for Kenya Rugby. We're having to work very hard behind the scenes just to financially try and put everything in place. There's actually an Mchanga crowdfunding support out there at the moment, where we're hoping our fans and supporters will be able to support us and support the team and do the nation proud in France and become a World Cup team.
All right. Thank you very much, Peter Drewett. He is a consultant for the Kenya Rugby Union. Thank you, and we wish you all the best. And all the best to Team Kenya as they play against Uganda, 4 p.m. France time. And this match is going to be played in France, in Aix-en-Provence. And remember, 5 p.m. East African, Kenya versus Uganda. There is a name for that derby. I will not use that name. It's politically incorrect, and people are saying stop using it. But let's simply say we've taken the Elgon Cup to French soil, and wish you all the best, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Drewett is a consultant for the Kenya Rugby Union, helping develop the game and speaking about the Kenya Simbas as they head to France for the Rugby World Cup qualifiers.